According to reports, pending a physical, the Giants have agreed to terms with wide receiver and a bit of a do-everything player in Jeff Smith. John Schmeelk, Paul Dottino with you. It's all brought to you by Primepoint. And Paul, this is a player that does a little bit of everything. Plays wide receiver, plays special teams, and if you go back to his college days, even played a little bit of quarterback.
He played at Boston College before he joined the Jets as an undrafted free agent, has spent 3+ years with Gang Green. 6'1", 195 pounds, and was timed in the 4.3s, John. So the one thing that we can say without any dispute is that he's got tremendous speed, and that kind of lends itself to a number of different possibilities.
Yeah, no question about it. As a gunner over the course of his career, he has about 59 or so snaps, so he's been used there. He's been used on kick coverage. He's been used on punt and return. So he's a guy that, and we'll get to the wide receiver stuff, can also become a bit of a core special teams player.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt, because that's one of the things you want in special teams. You're looking usually for a wide receiver or a defensive back who can get downfield very, very quickly. So maybe they project him to be a core special teams guy once he joins the Giants. Last year, only had 8 catches, but averaged 16.5 yards a catch. Giants fans may remember he did catch a 19-yard touchdown pass against the Giants in last year's preseason game when he was coming out of the left slot. Again, the Giants coaching staff obviously had a good chance to see him. Also, remember the Giants and Jets had that dual scrimmage during the course of last August as well. So I think they've got a good familiarity.
Yeah, he lines up inside. He lines up outside as a wide receiver. And Paul, as we've talked about, one big primary goal for the Giants this offseason was adding speed to their skill position group. And he certainly fills that role.
Yes, he does. And for those folks who are looking at this, maybe like trying to figure out, I'm puzzled. What are they going to do? There is one thing to keep in mind. There is a guy who set a precedent, if you will, for the type of player that Jeff Smith is. You remember Terrelle Pryor when he came out of Ohio State? He was a quarterback who really didn't get a chance to do much quarterbacking in the pros, was converted into a wide receiver, and in his 5th year, it took him 5 years of NFL experience before the Cleveland Browns actually converted him into a full-time wide receiver, and he wound up catching over 70 passes for over 1,000 yards. That was back in 2016. Now, I'm not saying that Jeff Smith is going to be Terrelle Pryor 2.0, but what I am saying is at least there is an example of someone with a similar skill set who has done something like this before, traveling a very, very similar path.
Yeah, Paul, in college, and this will be our final thing here, he did complete 34 passes for 404 yards and 6 touchdowns in his career. And he also ran the ball 136 times for 902 yards. So you wonder, we know Mike Kafka, we know Brian Daboll like to get creative on offense. Could they use him in some of these trick play scenarios because he can run, he can throw, and he can catch?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about his versatility in terms of a skill set. And let's not forget something, John. As we speak, the Giants only have 4 receivers under contract: Hodgins, Johnson, Robinson, and Shepard. Outside of Hodgins, those other 3 guys are all coming off of injury. And then they also have a handful of 5 receivers under reserve contracts. So this wide receiver room is still something the Giants are clearly looking to address.
And they'll have a chance to address it as free agency continues. Then, of course, in the NFL draft coming your way at the end of April. For Paul Dottino, I'm John Schmeelk. A look at one of the newest Giants, Jeff Smith. It's all brought to you by Primepoint. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.